Boom. I had headsets. Oh, they fell. That's right. Standing on them.
Yo, Bryce, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm good. Just dropping my headset.
Oh, just throwing things around.
Yeah.
Well, we had a fun little workout just now. Little bit of snatching, a little bit of double unders, a little bit of ab mat sit-ups.
But how about that deadlift? Woo.
How about that? Nope,
Deadlift
didn't even
strength.
do it. Didn't even do it.
Oh, you didn't do it.
I mean, I did part of it, but I didn't actually even pick up my last lift.
That was heavy.
Just didn't happen. But we're doing the Wendler strength program right now.
Yep.
And so
Week
if you
2,
miss weeks
90%,
of it, then it screws you up a little.
Yeah, we missed week 1, so
Yeah.
kind of
But we
need
did.
that. Kind of need that week 1 to set your body up for that.
Kind of get
heavy.
you ready for going to 465 for 3.
Yeah.
That was heavy.
Yeah, not good.
Yeah, we thought today we should talk about the legend. That is
Ron
Paul
Burgundy?
Leonard.
Who? Paul Leonard? Never
Yeah.
heard of him. Is
No.
that the guy that did Leonard's Bagels? Bakery?
Yeah, Leonard's
Yeah.
Bakery. That's the guy.
Yeah, okay.
No, we were going to talk about Mr. Glassman.
Greg Glassman.
So
Woo!
he does
The infamous one.
cause a little bit of controversy,
Only when he has his phone.
but despite that, caused him to sell his whole business and
Yep.
kind of change his life a little, I'm sure.
I bet.
But you know what? I bet he's got a pretty good life still.
I think he's probably okay.
I think he's got the finances and everything in place to have a good life.
He probably eats a lot better than we do.
Or at least has more money.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what I thought we should talk about today is why he is such a legend in our eyes, and what
Okay.
makes him so good of a
His big contribution.
his contribution to life, to the future of the world. Honestly, like
For
he
real?
he is someone who changed the world forever,
Yeah.
and yeah,
100% for the better for that matter.
And he did all of that through constantly varied functional movements executed at high intensity across broad time and modal domains.
Yeah. Also
Right off
known
the
as
wall.
CrossFit.
Also known as CrossFit. But
Also
more
known as
specifically,
swinging around on bars like idiots.
yeah,
Also known as
lots
that.
of weird
Lots of
things.
hate. Lots of
People just throwing around way heavier weights than they should with terrible form, like your last deadlift.
hate. Yeah.
And,
yeah. So what's the
so what did he do that made him so fantastic? So let's start out at the beginning. So he started out with a small gym. He
Yep.
started out in a gym,
personal trainer?
and then as a personal trainer, and then he basically got kicked out of his personal trainer gym
Okay.
because they didn't like what he was doing.
They didn't like dropping weights.
So then he started his own little thing in some little small building, if I'm
Yep.
just making it right.
Yeah, garage pretty
And a
much.
little garage kind of in an
Started the
industrial area.
garage gym, yeah.
And then that just started with a few clients, and then he built it up to a class of about 15. And then that's when he started to go online.
Yep.
And so he started just doing the programming that he did for his 15 people and just posted it for free, open source.
So he was a gymnast, right? To start, he was a
You wouldn't know by looking at
back
him.
in the day. Well, he had a hip injury.
Oh, I bet he
So
did.
that's why he can't walk and whatnot, or why he's got that limp. But yeah,
I
so
thought it
he
was just because his balls were so big.
yeah, that too. It's his wallet on one side. He
Yeah.
can't even lift that leg.
That was just too steep.
So yeah, he started personal training and came up with his methodology that seemed to work. And then when the advent of the internet, because he did this before the internet, so
Kind of right at the beginning of the internet.
right at the beginning of the internet, let's say 2000, I believe 2006, CrossFit.com goes live. So
It was around there. I thought it was a little earlier than that. I thought 2004
Well,
even.
2004, he I think he coined the name CrossFit
Okay.
and started using that. But as far as I believe the CrossFit, the
.com page.
first WOD, the WOD, the first WOD went in 2006, I believe, or it's the first journal entry number.
Oh, it could be
one.
CrossFit Journal entry number
Yeah,
one.
that might
would
be
make more
2006.
sense.
But anyway, somewhere
Anyway.
around 2006. Needless to say, he's one very underlooked thing that he did first was he's the first guy that built a company by giving shit away for free on the internet. No one
Yeah.
had used the internet that way, not legally anyway, with Napster or something. But
yeah.
but he gave away the information, and that was his thing. That if I give it away, see what you do with it. Maybe you change it a little bit, you report back,
Yeah.
and together we figure out what the best way to do to get fit and healthy.
Well, and even his franchise model, if you could call it that, it's
Yeah.
not a franchise, but what is
Affiliate.
affiliate model, that he created. It's almost a franchise,
Right.
except he says, I'm going to give you the idea of what to do
Yep.
and the name, and then you just do whatever you want,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yep.
And he had some limitation, but very limited.
Little. Yeah, not much. And it just came down to how well you can, appease your clientele, whether you're going to survive or not.
And then I think one of the most important things that he did is he put the big pyramid that's on your wall
Yeah.
into effect. So starting at the sport of CrossFit, the CrossFit games are not the games, but the sectionals are going
Just
on right now.
any
Sanctionals.
sport. It's not the sport of CrossFit. That's just
Well, that's part of it,
that's
but it could
fitness
be
in
any
general.
sport. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And then weightlifting and throwing being number 2 on the totem pole.
Moving
close to the
external
top.
objects. Yeah.
So getting heavy things moving.
Yeah.
And then gymnastics, just using your body to
Yeah.
move things around, whether that be doing push-ups or doing handstand walks or doing
Sure.
backflips.
Parallel
then-
uneven bars.
Metabolic conditioning, going into just running and
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
biking and swimming.
Your
and
body's ability
classic.
to create fuel.
And then more important than any of that being nutrition.
Yeah.
And that I think that's a very important thing that Glassman was selling from the get-go.
Oh, definitely.
Is that I don't care how often you work out. If you eat garbage all the time, even if you look fit, you're
It's going
not.
to catch you. Yeah.
You cannot get away with eating McDonald's
Right.
every day and have that be a healthy lifestyle.
And so that's kind of the thing that people, they look at CrossFit as a sport or as an exercise regime. It's actually, when you look at the whole of CrossFit and what he created, is actually health.
yeah.
Right? It's health through fitness and
Yeah.
diet.
Yeah.
And that pyramid proves exactly the diet is at the bottom, right? It's the most important thing.
It's the foundation. I wouldn't say it's
Right.
the bottom.
Yeah.
It's the
foundation
of
right.
it. Yeah.
It's the foundation, and that's the most important thing. And if you walked into his gym and you weighed 350 pounds, first thing he's going to tell you to do is change your diet
Yeah.
and come back in 6 months.
Yeah.
Because it's probably
You're not going to get there without it.
it's probably not even safe for certain people to even just begin working out until they fix their diet and get a little healthier.
Get a
right?
little more
if you're
dialed in.
if you're that far down on the health meter,
Yeah.
you have to get to a certain point. But that whole consult your physician before exercising. Well, some physicians would be like, no, because you'll die, right?
Yeah.
So you start with that nutrition, and you're already on your way to a better diet, or a better health.
And then on the note of the diet, his simply put, and the easiest way to do it is to read it off your wall.
Yeah.
Is just the way that everyone should be looking at nutrition.
Right.
To only eat healthy stuff
Real food.
and real healthy food and healthy stuff, and
Yeah.
not eat all kinds of supplements and garbage. And
Processed
in
foods,
the
sugar.
in the level 1 course, they don't say that you should use certain protein powders or anything because they don't believe you need to.
No.
You shouldn't need protein. You shouldn't need
No.
all these different accessories as long as you have all these supplements.
Well, it's
as long
kinda
as you have
like-
good, proper whole food.
You remember
Other than omega-3, they push omega-3 pretty hard.
they do push omega.
I don't know why.
Well,
They love fish.
yeah, you're doing unnatural things to your body sometimes when you're working out in CrossFit. So you got to kind of do something unnatural, which is eat a shitload of fish
Yeah, fish oils.
and to lube the old joints. But you remember in the CrossFit level 1, you had the semicircle.
Yeah.
That was one side was sickness,
Yeah.
the middle was health, and the other side was fitness.
Yeah.
Right. So you can think of that as a gas gauge, right? E is empty. You could actually, the lower end would probably be dead,
Yeah.
right? Sickness is above dead before health, right? So maybe it's kind of like your car. When you're driving down the street and you have a less than an eighth of a tank, you start sweating a little bit, right?
You're a little nervous.
You're into sickness. If
Yeah.
you get to E, you're dead, right? So
You're on the side of the road not moving.
yeah, you don't want to be in that sickness. You want to be a little bit above an eighth of a tank, let's say, to go into start working out, right? So that's where your diet might come in, get you up over that.
Get you that first.
That a little over halfway, you would say, would be like healthy, right?
Yeah.
And then, so if you went to the gas station, you only had $15 on you. You filled up. What's that? Oh, it's only a gallon of gas.
Yeah.
now.
That doesn't count for much in my truck.
Let's say you had $30. You gave a half a tank.
Yeah.
You're feeling okay about your vehicle, right?
Okay.
You're not going to worry about running out of gas today.
Not right now, anyway.
Not on this island. But let's say you had a little extra. You go up to fill it up. It doesn't really matter that you filled it up. It really just matters that you got that half tank, right? You're past that health point.
Yeah.
Everything else is extra.
Now
right?
it's just comfortable.
And that just buys you more time to not worry about doing anything and stopping at the gas station. You don't have to worry about gassing up for that much longer. Same thing with fitness. If you're up at that fit end, if you're Matt Frazier, you've filled your tank.
I feel like, though, there's actually a point that goes past the fitness scale at the level 1 where you see someone like Chris Spieler.
Yeah.
Chris Spieler is broken right now.
Well, that's his joints.
He pushed too hard.
He's a dipshit.
Yeah, he made bad choices.
Yeah.
But he fitnessed to the point of he shouldn't have gone as hard as he did.
Well,
but because of competitive attributes and because he's a little guy that was pushing a little harder than he should have, he can't do a snatch anymore.
But wasn't he doing something?
He was a wrestler before.
No, I'm saying he wasn't living what you would call a healthy lifestyle. There's a difference between a healthy lifestyle, right? And he was going beyond, his strength, his flexibility, right?
And I think any of the guys who are at the top edge of the sport.
I agree with that. But
like these guys today that were doing that snatch, those guys that are snatching over 300 pounds, that's not good for their bodies.
I don't know.
I'm not saying that they shouldn't do it.
I think it depends. It depends on the person. I don't know. Matt Frazier has zero,
and that's true.
He's like, I have 0 injuries. I've gotten injured 0 at CrossFit, or some minor bullshit.
And I agree with that. There's some people, but there's some people that are hitting that 300 that never should have.
But here's the thing,
and they might be sacrificing some stuff.
A physical injury and health isn't anything to do with the same thing.
Maybe
it can lead to it. It's gonna. So Chris Spieler wasn't at the end of fitness. He was somewhere between health and fitness, right?
He was pretty fucking fit.
No, because he wasn't strong enough. He wasn't, he was pushing as you push past 100%, you're starting to go the other way, right?
And that's what I'm saying. I think that the scale goes a little bit down past there where it actually regresses a little bit.
If you're overdoing it.
Yeah.
Like I can't say Matt Frazier, he was nowhere.
That's true.
He pushed harder than anybody. He never went down.
And Rich is the same thing, right? And although you look at Rich as a good example, Rich has had all kinds of surgeries and stuff because of it.
Yeah,
right?
but again, this is people trying to do a sport.
Those guys are overdoing.
They're not.
And if you were to train, if you were to train 8 hours a day every day, you would be broken.
Something would break.
And you might still be fit as shit.
Yeah.
But you would also push past health.
Sure, absolutely. But I think it just goes back down towards health, right? You're just kind of, I went a little too hard. You're learning where you're. That's like you're not emptying. You're emptying the gas tank a little faster because you're going too fast, right? You're cutting down your miles per gallon.
There you go.
And maybe wearing down the engine eventually.
Eat meat, vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, no sugar. I can't read behind there. Intake levels.
So it
will support performance and not body fat.
Right. That's the diet.
That is the diet of CrossFit. And if you look at every popular diet that's come out since that was said,
they're all that.
They're all just a different version of that. Whether we're talking about
minus a thing
zone, or whether we're talking about Whole30, or whether we're talking about paleo, or whether we're talking about macros.
Yeah. Most of them just come up slightly short of that. There's like one thing that they're like, oh no, but you could have some simple carbs
as long as it fits your macros.
It's okay. Yeah. Well, it's okay and ideal are two different things.
That's right.
He talks about ideal, optimal. He talks about optimal. Right?
And zone is macros. It's just a different way of doing it.
Right.
All of those things really are. Paleo, I'd say, is the closest to that.
Yeah.
If you're truly living paleo.
Yep.
But paleo is hard to live. Yeah. I lived paleo for a long time, and it was it's just restrictive. You can't drink.
Yeah, that's a tricky.
And
one.
I like drinking. I mean, honestly, that was one of the biggest differences. And like
to me, that was the only thing I didn't.
There was times where bread was appealing though. That was like more so when I'm out. Like at home, I didn't never have bread, but
nachos,
nacho healthy. Yeah.
Nachos are a problem.
There's certain things like that, and then there's the products that like blur that line. Like you get the Siete chips or whatever they are, where they're made out of something other than like they're paleo.
They don't really,
but
glow.
They're not paleo
they're
because they're not made out of natural things.
But if you just it's not a hard thing. It's just a hard self-control thing, is what it is.
Yeah, you just have to say, okay, I'm going to change my life for this, and why.
But again, it's do you have to do it 100%? No. but if the closer you get to it, the better off you are.
And when I was paleo for about the first year I did CrossFit.
Right.
Because I started CrossFit and I was like, I better become paleo. So I did.
Right.
And I tried my very, very best to stay 80%. So I'd have a cheat meal or like a meal that was not paleo at least one day a week.
Yeah.
And I was okay with that. And and I got leaner than I had been in a long time at that point.
Absolutely.
And I felt healthy. And at that time I wasn't lifting very much, but I sure felt better than I did before.
Well, that's the thing, right? So that people unfortunately in like the one thing Glassman changed, like we said, is the fitness industry. It's one of the largest industries there is, billions of dollars, right?
Yeah, you go into a 24-hour fitness right now, there's pull-up rigs, there's Olympic lifting stations.
There's rogue
gear.
Anywhere that there's rogue equipment, thank you, Greg Glassman.
Yeah.
That's
the
it.
The world of weightlifting was completely revolutionized by CrossFit. Look at the best weightlifters in the world. A lot of them came from CrossFit. Maybe not all of them, certainly not, but some of them did.
Well, none of the best ones in the world, just the best ones in the United States.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry.
That's true.
Sorry, China, you come from labs. But yeah, the fitness was changed. And how was it changed? Before, so I was into fitness when I was a kid. 50 years ago, right? However, long time ago.
They were throwing around rocks back then because they hadn't invented weights yet.
We had to use, exactly. Back then, the only influence in fitness was Arnold Schwarzenegger and Joe Weider, and everything that any literature you got was bodybuilding. And as bodybuilding,
3 sets of 10.
Bodybuilding is not fitness in any way, shape, or form. It's not healthy in any way, shape, or form.
But you get big buys.
All it is picking shit up and putting it down. And you don't get strong either. There's a lot of misconceptions about bodybuilding, right? So, and I ate all that shit up. I fucking loved that stuff for most of my.
So why didn't you get strong then?
I told you that you don't get strong.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
There's zero.
So
strength.
you're still just bodybuilding then?
The only one that gets strong is Ronnie Coleman.
Unless you juice.
Well, they all juice, so there's that. And this is the truth. But yeah, so the way people looked at fitness was just so far skewed, right? And why was that? Because there was no definition of fitness. Glassman actually made a definition of fitness, and then put 10 qualities of fitness, right? Strength, speed, power, agility, flexibility. I'm not going to remember.
They're on the stairs.
Yeah, balance, accuracy, and did I say them all? I don't know. There's probably one more I missed. I always miss one. Yeah. But there's 10 of them. And so you can quantify
cardiovascular endurance.
There you go. Thank you. Muscular stamina. Yeah.
That's the one that you're missing.
Yeah, you can what do you call it? Quantifiably measure all these things.
You can define them, yeah.
You could they're defined what they are, and then you can measure where you are with that, right? And
if you go to be on the whiteboard, it uses those categories to define it for you.
Yeah.
And mine says I'm missing one because I have to run really far sometime.
Yeah, you're missing. Yeah, it's the endurance one's always missing for everybody.
You got to run 10 miles.
Yeah.
Well, I want to run 10 miles.
You get the mile. So before that, and people would argue who the fittest in the world was. It was always the not marathoners. What's the other one? Triathletes. People would look at them. Oh, they're the fittest in the world. Okay, yeah, they can run far. They're really the best endurance at arguably some of the best endurance athletes in the world, right?
Oh, the guys who are winning the Ironman are crazy fit.
Yeah, they're up there. Yeah, but without a measurable definition of fitness,
I mean, anybody who can pull off a full Ironman is pretty impressive.
Not really. You did it. But it absolutely is impressive. But it's not a definition of fitness.
I agree.
It's just one chunk of fitness, and it's cardiovascular endurance.
A really long part of
There's
your
some
life.
stamina, muscular stamina too, right? But that's it. There's only 2 of the 10, right? So until somebody put a definition to it, there was no way. People, you're just throwing things out there. No one would have ever said, "Oh, the fittest man in the world is fucking Brian Shaw, the world's strongest man." No one's looking at that fat motherfucker and saying he's fit.
He's lean as shit right now.
He's scary. I'm sorry, Brian. I meant nothing by that.
Have you seen a picture of him recently?
Brian, yeah.
Dude,
he's down to 20%. Did you
Holy
see?
Shit,
have
dude.
you seen Half Thor?
No, not recently.
Fuck, bro. He lost 110 pounds
Wow.
He's training for that fight with Eddie Hall.
Oh yeah.
Fucking scary. So he's only
I would not want to fight
He's
those
only
guys.
380 now.
Whew.
And he is shredded, mean.
my God.
But anyway, no one would have looked at those guys in the past and been like, "Oh, that's the fittest guy on earth." 0% chance.
Yeah.
But there was no definition, so it was an argument of, "Oh no, this guy's fitter. This guy's fitter." You wouldn't ever look at a bodybuilder and say, "That's the fittest," right? But I think
Swimmers are pretty fit.
swimmers, they're okay, but they can't lift weights. I mean, there's a lot they can't do.
Look at the bodies on those guys. I bet they can lift.
Yeah, why don't you go look at the bodies on them?
Look at the female swimmers, perv.
But you, damn, got me. Just thinking about dudes.
Anyway, on that note, so let's carry on to Glassman.
But yeah, so
Glassman's also a cool guy because he invited us to a barbecue at his house.
Yeah. But nobody's arguing Matt Frazier's the fittest on earth right now because there's no other test out there to test it. And
I mean, he's a quitter, so I'm going to give it to someone else now.
He's now used to be the fittest guy on earth in a couple months.
Who was?
Huh?
Oh,
I
don't know.
I don't remember his name. I don't remember his name.
Mitt
Frazier?
Mitt.
So yeah, that's kind of the big thing he did. He really identified what
The definition was a big part of it.
And then
he built Rogue. Not that he built it, but he did.
Well, his first female champion built it, so there's that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true too.
Yeah.
But like that whole business, which is so huge now, and changed the world of fitness in their own too by building the things that they have. How many people have a rig at their house now?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like my dad used to have a power cage back in the day. Here's the steel plates.
Yeah, I mean, I had weights and like gym in my house when I was growing up because I would build one all the time. But
you didn't do stuff like what we do.
But people didn't use them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And people would have like some plates, some weights sitting in the corner. But now, and why is that? Because I think the functional part of CrossFit, the functional movement thing, is a thing where people said, or Glassman said, what can you do here that's going to help you in life, right? In the gym, going to help you in life. And then people realized, oh man, this functional movement thing, there's something to that. Like I'm more useful in the day-to-day if I'm better.
It's surprising how much that actually does translate into the other parts of fitness world too, in that like I've never really put a lot of effort into training chest.
Right.
But on our last chest cycle, this is probably 6 months ago.
Yeah.
I benched 310. I missed 315. Fuck.
Well,
but I used to struggle with 225.
But see, and that's something.
CrossFit got me that strong. I never did bench.
But so that's the thing. You said, why wasn't I stronger? Because I was doing bodybuilding stuff. Because bodybuilding doesn't make you strong. So we're all from 1960 to 2000. All people were doing was bodybuilding, thinking they're getting strong. Like I benched 300 when I was doing that type of shit, and I did it bench like every other day. I wasn't getting that strong because it wasn't there. The methodology didn't work.
And now we're getting it from intensity during all those push-ups on Monday.
Exactly, because the intensity is where it's at, and so the methodology of CrossFit actually builds strength. It's not making you jacked. It's not supposed to. This isn't so that you
and I hate
don't
the way
fit into your shirt. It's so you can actually move.
I hate the way I look with all this CrossFit I've been doing. Said nobody ever.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I think that's the most important part of Glassman's quick little CrossFit definition: the executed at high intensity.
The intensity, yeah.
Because you see, even CrossFitters.
Well, anything
you get somebody that walks in the gym at 5:30 in the morning and doesn't put the intensity in.
Yeah, it's hard.
Then they're not making the gains.
No.
So they might be doing CrossFit, but they're not actually doing CrossFit if they're not pushing that intensity.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you could take that constantly varied functional movement, high intensity thing, and take out any of them except for the high intensity, and you still have an effective program. But if you take out the high intensity, you don't have an effective program.
And then I think people use that portion of it in other sports now.
Yeah.
So, like, you look at triathletes.
Absolutely.
Your triathletes aren't doing full triathlons all the time.
Right.
They're doing super intense sprints on their bikes, on their swimming, more CrossFit style.
Yeah, and they're lifting weights.
And they're lifting weights to get strong.
Yep.
Absolutely. When Ben and I were on our trip last weekend.
But they're not doing curls, and they're not doing flies.
So on our trip
That's
this
the
past
difference.
weekend,
Yeah.
we turned the gym machines into a CrossFit workout.
Yeah.
Because there was 5 machines.
Okay.
So we did. We set a
cranked them
EMOM.
up.
We went 1 minute on each for
Okay.
max reps. So we
Nice.
set a decent weight.
Yeah.
And so we turned conventional weightlifting with
Sure.
isolated movements, and it was brutal, honestly, because
sure.
those machines
Yeah.
force you to push on this part of your pack.
Yeah.
So when you're doing those for time, oh shit.
A good way to get injured. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we only did it once.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I hear you. The intensity. Yeah.
And it made it a really good workout compared to that gym would not have been otherwise.
Even if you look at like bodybuilders back in the day, or even now, the best ones are the ones that are yelling, screaming, getting intense. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
that's true.
It's not the ones that are they're not just sitting there.
Yeah.
You know? They're the ones that are effective with building the muscle, because that's what builds it too. Like even if you're looking at bodybuilding, it's intensity that builds the muscle.
Yep.
You're still not building strength, but that's strength training. Strength training, same thing. It could be said. You're building strength, but you're probably overweight. You're not going to move very fast in a lot of anything else. You're just pretty good at strength. You know, same thing. Who is the best at that? The guys that get all amped up, intensity, right?
Yeah, you got the guys that are screaming as they do
So
the big lifts.
the two definitions, the diet definition and the fitness definition, or the CrossFit definition, it's kind of like how take out one or two things of the diet thing and you have the South Beach diet. It's also take out something of this constantly varied functional execute at high intensity and you have bodybuilding. Take out a different one and you have strength training, right? I mean, it's tweak it a little bit and you're taking
Take out the constant varied and you have F45.
yeah. You take these things and
Or does that take out the high intensity? I don't remember.
I don't know. You take either the diet or the definition, and it's non-specialized, right?
Yeah.
You're not specializing. You change it slightly, and you're going towards the specialized end. And that was the point of CrossFit. It's GPP, General Prepared Physical.
General physical preparedness.
Fuck.
Yep.
Versus
Make it harder to kill you.
versus specializing, right? So yeah, most people that do CrossFit are like, they're not going to show up. They don't show up on, and I can tell you this, they don't show up on running days because they don't like running. They're specializing.
The running day we did the other day, I noticed was like 3 of us at 3:30.
Yeah. So
which is the time that everybody normally shows up.
Yeah. So those people are inadvertently specializing. They don't know they are, nor do they want to be, but they are.
Yeah.
Not too many people show up. Well, Thursdays is rest day, but not too many people show up because I put an echo bike. And I put a ski erg, right? And they're like, ugh, those sound like they're hard.
But when you only have 2 skiers, you kind of hope not too many people show up.
You're avoiding, you're specializing.
Yeah.
So some people will try to not show up for double under day. So what do you have most of these people don't want to do? They want to do they don't want to do the things that's really hard, right?
Yeah.
Pushing yourself on a run, a row, a bike, a ski erg, and double unders, it hurts because you have to push. You have
actually dumbbell snatches too. They always hurt. I don't know why they hurt. They shouldn't hurt.
That might be a different problem.
Today actually wasn't bad, but on like a workout like the open workout with the double or if the snatches, that workout hurts.
Because you don't put it down. Yeah.
But
again, same idea. It's the same idea. That constant motion, it hurts, right? Your body's like, hey man, I don't really want to do this.
Yeah, your body's trying to check out.
You should slow down. But you're like, I got to go faster. This sucks, and that's why people are avoiding what is hard. It's easy to kind of tone the intensity down on clean day.
Yeah.
And still hit cleans.
Yeah.
It's hard to tone the intensity down when it's a mile run in the middle of a workout, and you're like, shit, I gotta go. You know,
shit, I gotta go.
Even though it's not that hard, just walk.
I thought we were saying bye.
Yeah. So, but that's the same thing. You take something out, and you're now specializing, right? So you could kind of take all of what he says and just change it slightly, and it's specialization. So that's a big one.
Well, go Glassman.
Yeah, and there's more, but
it's already 30 minutes.
Oh, jeez.
Now it's 30 minutes of fitness.
Oh, jeez. I got to change the name.
So, peace.
See ya.